Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hi Jocelyn, and who else? Oh, okay, Jocelyn, welcome. Thank you for coming. Hare Krishna. We can chant a little bit together here. Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari Hari. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Nityananda, Gauranga, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shiva Sadi Gora Bhaktavinda. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shiva Sadi Gora Bhaktavinda. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gora Bhaktavinda. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gora Bhaktavinda. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Nityananda, Gauranga. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Nityananda, Gauranga. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Nityananda, Gauranga. Nityananda, Nityananda, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. 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 Nityananda, Nityananda, Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Nityananda, Nityananda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda, 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 Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda, 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 Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, 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 Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda, Nityananda. Nityananda, Nityananda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda, Nityananda, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda, Nityananda, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda, Nityananda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Shri Krishna.
There's no sound, Gorahari. Guess he heard me.
Okay, he's chanting, so I don't know if I
No, no sound. Maybe you're muted.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Yeah.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya. 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Do we have sound again? Is it working? Yeah, it must be. Okay. Krishna, Hare.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. All right. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Maybe mute your mic because it's making a scratching noise.
Okay.
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, 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 Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hari Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hari Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hari Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari Hari. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gora Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gora Bhaktavinda. Mm-hmm. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Oh, it's dark in here. Okay. Some light here. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gora Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay. Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda Jaya Srila Prabhupada. All right, reading here. Read a little bit here. Jaya Srila Prabhupada. So, Gopakumar, this is the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, fulfillment of long cherished desires. Gopakumara said, "Hey Brahmana, coming to this Vrindavan and following Narada's instructions, in a sweet voice I began chanting the names of my dearest Sri Krishna, as well as meditating on and singing about his pastimes. Remembering the condition of my heart and the bhav that arose inside me upon seeing his Leela Stalis at that time, I feel a little bashful. How can I possibly describe that condition to others? At that time, I felt extremely aggrieved, and I passed my days and nights crying pitiably. I could not determine whether the spiritual practices which I had been observing for so long were giving me happiness or drowning me in an ocean of sorrow. I could not determine whether I was residing in the middle of a forest fire or if I was submerged in the nectarian cooling waves of the Yamuna. Sometimes I thought that I must have fallen into the hands of a knave who was drowning me in a great ocean of unhappiness, where I could not trace even a scent of happiness. Thus I resided in this way, in this very kunj, which is like an ornament of Vrindavan. Once while drowning in an ocean of weeping, I fainted. Then the crown jewel of those who are merciful approached me. And with his nectarian lotus hands, in which he holds a flute, he wiped the dust from my body. Next, that great knave playfully tried to bring me back to consciousness by time and again shaking me. But it was as if the sweet fragrance emanating from him, the likes of which I had never experienced, which upon reaching my nose brought me back to consciousness. Receiving darshan of his lotus face, I quickly stood up in great confusion. And being overcome with divine bliss, I tried to grasp his beautiful yellow cloth. But making playful melodies on his flute, that crown jewel of heroes moved behind me, and at that very moment entered another kunj and hid. I pursued him and began looking everywhere for him, but I could not find him anywhere. Being deprived of his darshan, I again fainted and fell into the current of the Yamuna. As the current that was carrying me along became very fierce, I was awakened. Opening my eyes, I saw that I was rising in an airplane, moving faster than the speed of mind, along a celestial path, until noticing that I had arrived at some other world. After composing myself, I saw that I was in Vaikuntha. Being wonderstruck, I was overcome with great bliss. Uh, Being carried along, I crossed Ayodhya and other worlds. In the end, it's not working. In the end, I fulfilled my long-cherished desire of arriving at Goloka, which was situated above all those other worlds. As Govardhan, the Yamuna, etc., are situated within the Mathura Mandala of this world. In the same way, they are all present there as well. When I went to that Mathura Puri, and I saw that it was identical to the Mathura Puri of this world, I was struck with wonder, and I felt immense joy. But there I heard that Kamsa had imprisoned Devaki and Vasudeva and his own father, Ugrasena, and usurped the kingdom. Being stricken with fear of Kamsa's demon friends, the Yadavas could not live freely and happily. Being stricken with fear of Kamsa's demon friends, the Yadavas could not live freely and happily. They were constantly being tormented by Kamsa. So some fled to other lands, and some even took shelter of him and remained living there. Hearing of all this, I did not stop there. I bathed in Vishwarat Ghat and quickly proceeded to Sri Vrindavan. Although the demigod kings and even eternal residents of Vaikuntha could not even go to that Goloka, I saw that the same customs practiced in India of this world were prevalent there. Seeing how the sun rises, how the residents there have the same forms, modes of behavior, and speak the same language as the people of this world, I was thoroughly astonished and submerged in an ocean of divine bliss. Within a moment, I saw people who appeared to be gopas wandering in the forest, and elderly gopis picking flowers. The residents there were extraordinary, different, different, different from the residents of any other worlds I had previously visited. It seemed that someone had stolen their very hearts, and they appeared to be perturbed. Merely by seeing them, merely by seeing them. Merely by seeing them, my sentiments became just like theirs. With great endeavor, I composed myself very respectfully and asked this question. Uh, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna. You people are experiencing a divine bliss which is rarely felt in the hearts of even the best Paramahamsa devotees, for which the dear devotees of Lord Vaikuntha are always praying. You people are experiencing a divine bliss which is rarely felt in the hearts of even the best Paramahamsa devotees, and for which the dear devotees of Lord Vaikuntha are always praying. Hey, kind-hearted ones, I am very fallen and have come to your shelter, so please be merciful and look in my direction. Please tell me, who is the king of this land? Where is his palace? Who is the king of this land? And where is his palace? And where is the path which will lead me to him? Next, I ask, you people are fortunate. I humbly ask you, be merciful and please say something. If you are observing a vow of silence, then please convey something through medium of hand gestures. Oh, I understand. Even upon hearing the aggrieved words, my aggrieved words, you are not answering. So it must be that knave Sri Krishna has cast a spell on you. It was the same way with whomever I saw there. Time and again I questioned them with great humility, but they never answered me. Moving on, I came to a place where there were many cows. Looking around in all directions, I saw what appeared to be a palace, and it seemed to possess all varieties of sweetnesses. Looking around in all directions, looking around in all directions, I saw what appeared to be a palace, and it seemed to possess all varieties of sweetnesses. Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Oh, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Moving on, I came. Moving on, I came to a place where there are many cows. Looking around in all directions, I saw what appeared to be a palace, and it seemed to possess all varieties of sweetnesses. All around that palace were gopis singing songs as they churned yogurt. All around that palace were gopis singing songs as they churned yogurt. Moving a little closer, I heard those sensational songs, as well as the tinkling of the gopis' ornaments. Hearing this, I became unsteady in transcendental joy. Composing myself, I moved forward a bit, where I met an elderly man who was constantly chanting Krishna. Krishna. I met an elderly man who was constantly chanting Krishna, Krishna. Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. With great eagerness and crying out of great love, with great effort and exercising all my cleverness, I finally managed to get his attention and inquire from him. With a choked voice, he said, "This is the palace of Sri Krishna's father, the king of the Gopas, Sri Nandaraya. This is the palace of Krishna's father, the king of the Gopas, Nandaraya." Hearing these words, I felt the full impact of divine bliss and fainted. uh, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Ooh, Krishna. uh, Instantly, that kind elderly man brought me back to consciousness, and racing forward, I came to the entrance of the palace and sat down. There I saw countless millions of wonders, the likes of which I have never seen or ever heard before. There I saw countless millions of wonders, the likes of which I had never seen or even heard before. Besides those who actually reside there, no one could possibly understand these wonders. Hey, Brahmana, I could not determine if the residents there were immersed in some colossal divine bliss or were overcome with some great sorrow. Hearing the cowherd women's mixture of singing and crying, I could not determine by my own intelligence if their singing was due to feeling immense joy or they were experiencing the most excruciating, extreme sadness. As I looked around at that world, I thought for a moment, I am in the material world. But reflecting upon what I have seen before, I realized I was present in Goloka, which is situated above the 14 material worlds. The 8 material coverings and all other spiritual realms. After that, an elderly lady approached me, and offering pranam to her, I humbly asked, humbly asked, where is Sri Nanda Nandana enjoying pastimes today? The elderly woman said, this morning Sri Nandana, accompanied by Sri Balaramji and his sakas, has taken the cows and gone to the forest to enjoy pastimes. He is the very giver of life. He is the very giver of life to we residents of Raj. He is the very giver of life to we residents of Raj. He is the very giver of life to we residents of Raj. And now that the evening is approaching, he will be returning here any moment. By the path near the Yamuna, on which all the residents of Raj have now fixed their vision. Krishna, Krishna. By the path near the Yamuna, in which all the residents of Raj have now fixed their vision, and on which even the trees have turned their leaves with great eagerness to receive his darshan, Sri Krishna will definitely come. Oh, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Oh, my Lord. Whoa. Phew. Sri Gopakumar said, Hey Brahmana, hearing this, it was as if I was suddenly bathed in streams of supreme nectar. Then I also fixed my vision exclusively on that path. Being filled with the supreme blissfulness, I became stunned, and my legs could not move. When with great difficulty I moved a little forward, from a distance I heard a very sweet sound. I heard the enchanting vibration of Krishna's flute, which being mixed with the mooing of cows and the singing of his divine pastimes, was making various extraordinary transcendental melodies. That vibration is supremely attractive to the residents of Raj. By the influence of that vibration, streams of nectar began flowing from all the trees. Tears of love began to flow from the eyes of the residents of Raj, and milk began to flow from the breasts of Mother Yashoda and the motherly gopis. At that time, the current of the Yamuna became stunned and began to flow in the opposite direction. Hearing the melody of the flute, all the residents of Raj became maddened. Therefore, I don't know if the flute exudes deadly poison or a shower of nectar. Is it hard like a thunderbolt or soft like a flower? Is it hotter than a blazing fire or cooler than moonbeams? Then I saw the ladies of Raj exit their respective homes, in their heads articles. Some carrying in their hands articles for offering arti to Sri Krishna. Others carrying on their heads garlands, ornaments, chandan, and delectable foodstuffs. Some gopis not carrying anything else, due to being exceedingly anxious, were sometimes stumbling and falling as if they ran, as they and falling as they ran to where the sound of the cows mooing mixed with the vibration of the flute was coming from. Some had placed their ornaments in the wrong places in their bodies, and due to their anxiety, others' belts had become untied. Others remained inside their homes and stunned and motionless, just like trees, and some fainted and fell to the ground. Some Sakis who had fainted, from whose eyes tears were flowing, and from whose mouths saliva was dripping, were being carried by their friends who were exclaiming, Saki, come and take darshan of the Lord of our lives, Sri Krishna. Singing Sri Krishna's names and pastimes, all of those Vrajagopis quickly arrived at the bank of the Yamuna. They were beautified by their mottled clothes and ornaments and the effulgence of their bodies. Their good fortune robs even Lakshmi Devi of the pride she feels for her own good fortune. Yeah, so to be continued. I don't have the strength to read anymore. Krishna. Yeah. So, Vrindavan is a experience.
You want us to continue with a kirtan or go do our own class?
No, yeah, I'm going to go and take rest now. Yeah. So you guys do your little kirtan now. So everybody can watch for Sachi's live stream there, live on Facebook. They're going to do now.
Okay, Haribo.
Okay, so good night, everybody. And here, I'll take you off your make it scratchy noise here. Yeah. Okay. So good night, everybody, and yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. Vrindavan this is so amazing. It's yeah. It's very intense bliss. See, and it's funny, you can't. It's like you can't. It's just like if anybody starts to taste this ras, you can't tell if the person is suffering in great sorrow or in great happiness. That's its style. The deep attraction that the residents have there, but it's all bliss. They're not in any kind of material sorrow. And so anyway, when you're relishing this ras, there's these symptoms you could see. You can see in this video also those kinds of symptoms of this. It said laughing and crying sometimes, and sometimes hard to tell, if it's like a mixture, and you can't quite discern is a person happy or sad or what. But anyway, it's all transcendental bliss, and it's wonderful, and it's very rarely distributed in this world. And by the Lord's grace, we're got the good fortune to share this path, this very rare path, with the world, and share this rare gift also. And the way it's done is the devotees actually taste the holy name and the qualities and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, and the devotees, and those who come and are close to that emanation, because it's a prema, it's a prema experience, prema potency, and can be affected, especially when you develop faith in this path. And that's part of our teaching, is to teach a lot about its glories and how amazing it is. So anyway, everybody, if anybody's new that watches the replay, just keep coming regularly, and you'll see you'll get a gift that can't be had anywhere. As well. Could be. It just depends if it's being distributed by some devotees, but it's pretty rare to see this prema so easily gotten. Usually very difficult. Many lifetimes it takes to develop this. Okay, thank you very much, Lalita Ganga. All right, yes, just came too late. Oh, sorry. All right, yeah. Well, you can watch the replay if you want. All right, so good night, everybody. I'll see you later. I'm pretty stoned now. I'm gonna hobble about here. Vrindavan stone. God whacked. God smacked. Krishna smacked. So I have to do that now.